welcome to another episode of the Business of Coaching Workshop, powered by Turnkey Coach, the platform that's revolutionizing how coaches build and scale their online and in-person businesses without the burnout. I'm Andrew Jackson, your host, and today we are going to dive deep into the world of entrepreneurship in the fitness and coaching space. Our guest today is Mike Lisi, the dynamic founder and CEO of Ignite Entrepreneurs, where he helps gym owners and coaches ignite their businesses through smart marketing, automation, and proven scaling strategies. Mike is not just talking the talk, he's walked it, having built multiple ventures and gyms, and also the host of Ignite Initiative podcast, sharing stories with top entrepreneurs. Mike, it is awesome to have you here. It's been fun to get to meet you a couple of months ago in Arizona, and your team. They were there right next to us at the Underground Strength Con last month, and excited to jump into it. So let's start at the beginning. What sparked your journey into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Thanks for having me on. I really do appreciate it. And when we met you guys in Arizona, we knew you guys were like-minded like us, and it was an awesome time. But yeah, well, what sparked my interest? I guess it's a great question. I guess my dad. So my dad was an entrepreneur. Started with like a coffee truck. I used to drive it to the Bronx like 2:30 a.m. every day. That's how he started. Ended up owning a beer distributor and that stuff. So I kind of followed his path, and I just always had a passion. I played football in college, so I had a pretty big following, like in my hometown, for like training athletes and things like that. So that's how I first got into it. I wanted to be a trainer. Like that's what I wanted to be, and train athletes, and that's what I did when I was 22. I opened up my first gym and just kind of went from there. So I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I kind of just fell into it, I guess.
What got you thinking about your first gym? Like what?
Yeah. So it's a long story. So my brother-in-law, it's my sister's husband at the time, was leaving a commercial gym. He was a trainer there, opening up his own gym. And he kind of asked me, and I was like a senior in college at the time. So I was just like, you know what, that sounds awesome. I'm not really sure. I just went to college to play football, basically. So I didn't really I studied. I have a health science degree, but I wasn't like really going for anything. So I'm like, all right, like this, I can do that at least for a little bit. So we ended up partnering on that on my first gym, RAF, and that's how it all started. And then, I always loved like helping people. So it would start out with athletes first. We train a bunch of athletes every single day, long hours. And then I got into adults a little bit. And then I just fell in love with the business side of things. Like just, that was it. So
How did you? A lot of gym owners that I talk to struggle with the shift from being on the floor, being the coach, falling in love with, like Joe talks about, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the programming and the technical side of things. It seems like you really gravitated more towards the business side. Do you think that was seeing your dad growing up and kind of having a bigger picture view of things?
it's tough. It's like, yeah, that for sure. There's no doubt. And it's just like education. So like hiring mentors, hiring people at the Business of Strength,
Mm.
being friends with Joe and Dan, those guys, and helping me like see that side. And then like, there's a bunch of content out there like YouTube, things like that. I was never really like a huge, like I know a lot of entrepreneurs are big like book readers and stuff like that. I was never honestly like a big book reader, but like podcasts, YouTube videos, like that's where I kind of jam because I don't really focus well long on like books, but videos I could just dive into that and teach myself things, and that's kind of how I did it. I would just so what I did was with the gym is like every coach is like a control freak, right? In a little way of how they want their programming and how they want their stuff going. So for me,
Mm.
my mentors were telling me like, step away from the gym a little bit, coaching wise. I'm like, if I'm there, I'm going to be coach. So I was there nitpicking people, nitpicking my coaches, micromanaging. So I started out like one day a week. I'm just going to leave the gym and work from a coffee shop. So like, I'm not going to even go into my gym, just kind of So that's what I did. One day turned into a full day into a full 7 days, 24/7. And I was just like studying the game of business and marketing. And that's where I just kind of kept on going in that groove.
What was the biggest lesson you learned from starting those early ventures?
Starting my early ventures, I guess like have systems in place
Mm.
because we were busy. We had a great product, and we still do. We're still open 11 years now. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, so my first gym still, I still owner, not operator anymore, but we have a great thing to help a bunch of people, over 350 members. So it's a really good thing for sure. But I guess like in the beginning, we were so busy, we were bringing people in. We had no systems in place. So training systems we had, like the programs and stuff like that we had, but how to keep people longer, how to keep people engaged, how to follow up with people coming in like leads, right? Like we had none of that. Like I was not a marketing person at all or understood that stuff at all. So that's when I was like, okay, like especially with the partnership, I guess that helped too. Like I had my brother-in-law John, like just kind of focus on that side more. I'm like, look, like I'll handle the business side. Let me just figure out this side. I got it. Like, and that's where I just kind of just and once you get a little hang of it and you see some progress, like anything else, right? You kind of get like addicted to it, and that's how it was. I was addicted to that side of it. So
That it's interesting to hear that you considered yourself not a marketing guy, and now I got you on this podcast that I want to pick your brain about being a marketing expert.
yeah,
Tell me
it's
about that transition and how that led to the
well,
birth of
it
Ignite
wasn't.
Entrepreneurship.
It's the truth, right? Like that's
Yeah.
just kind of how I started, and it's like firsthand, it's like, all right, you got to market your business, right? So this is back like I guess like 2000. So 2015 we opened. So like
Uh-huh.
2017 I started digging in a little bit. 2018 I actually hired. He was still on staff like Hormozy. Maybe it was 2019. So like gym launch, like
Yep.
I hired them, big out of pocket expense that I really didn't have at the time, but I did it. Learned a ton, got some mentorship there, hired more mentors along the way, and you could if one thing I would change if I can go back in time is I would have spent more and did it earlier on mentorship, like
Mm.
on the marketing side, right? Like because that's what I did. I kind of just bought some experience. Is basically what I did, right? So once I figured out, like, okay, like if I figure out how to run ads, how to follow up with people, have a better system than other people taught me in the past, our business can make more money. I also could have the freedom more of working from where I want to, which it's not really that as good as it sounds. Like you're always tied down to stuff, and there's
Yeah.
always things going on. It's actually way more demanding than people
Yeah.
think it is. Text every second of the day and
Yep.
all night. So emails, Slack channels, but yeah, like that's what I did. Like so, I just self taught myself everything. There's so much, everything's out there now, especially with
Mm.
ChatGPT and YouTube. Like anything is out there to learn. Just staying focused on it and having a plan. So from like 2018 and on, I just been studying this stuff nonstop. And like 7 years later, it feels like 7 days later. Just here we are, right? So
How I hear that often. Joe Riggio, they talk about it a lot too. Just the value of coaching. I mean, obviously we're coaches, and so we see that from
yeah,
a strength and conditioning standpoint. And it's funny how that sometimes is a harder to connect the dots on the business side. But
yeah,
I certainly think that's true. And I also get questions from coaches that I talk to. Especially now, I think the market is, I don't know if saturated is the right word, but there is a ton of people offering business coaching now.
yeah,
How do you
yeah.
differentiate somebody who's legit from just kind of selling you some PowerPoint presentations or
Yeah, yeah, it's tough because everybody will sell you the world, right? And
mm,
not really deliver. So, I think like the long term contracts are always kind of shady for me.
mm,
I hate that stuff. That's why like for Ignite, it's like we have a 30-day cancellation. Like if you want to leave, leave. Like we're pretty confident in what we do, so we're cool with that, right?
yeah,
But also like just I guess like and one of my good attributes that I have, like for being an owner, being an entrepreneur, I can read people pretty well. Like I
mm,
know like Joe and Dan are good guys, good people. Joe, Dan, Adam, like the whole crew. It's just like if they're good people, then it should work. I know it sounds pretty bland as an answer, but it's just the truth. Like you can kind of read people, right, and read their processes from the beginning. But I think like if they're trying to lock you into a long term thing, it's like why? If your
mm,
product's good, we should stick with you, right?
mm,
So that's always a red flag in my opinion. And then like, do they do it still? So like perfect example, like Business of Strength, they own 3 gyms,
mm,
right? Like, and in Ignite, we own 2 gyms and we partner on a lot of gyms. Like, minority partners on other gyms. So like, that's, it's proven. It's not like we had it in the past and we don't have it anymore. We still have it because we have great systems in our businesses where I don't have to be working inside my other businesses every single day. They're still running and operating. So
So after you got some of that coaching, what was the gap that you saw in the market, especially for gym owners and coaches, that kind of lit the fuse for Ignite?
yeah, so what happened was I opened up another gym in 2022 next floor, which we might open up another location in 2026. We might open up another one, but um, anyways, like when I did that, we filled filled the doors pretty quickly. Like we had a really good pre-sale, had a good marketing, and got the capacity pretty quick. So when we did that, a lot of people were just asking like, what are you doing? What are you doing? All that stuff, and I was just like everybody, and again, like other people had high level, right? They just weren't operating at how we operated it. So I would just
Oh,
kind of teach them
interesting.
what we're doing, teach them the systems that we use on it, because it's just a blank Canva, right? That's all it is, and then you got to put the pieces together. So I really just I know the ins and outs of it, and then also like knowing the gym business at the same time. So not only we're a marketing company, we're a gym first, so we understand the problems, the pains that gym owners have. So like this is what we want to put in place in your systems. So once that happened, kind of just started like I had a couple of friends that own gyms and it was going good. So I had like two or three clients. This is like 2.5 years ago, probably now. And then 2 years ago from like this day, I was in the business of strength. And I had a conversation. I was actually at Varsity House for just like a consultation, just for me as a gym owner, just speaking to them about my gyms. And then like I knew Joe and Dan didn't have like a CRM provider. I'm like, hey, like I want to be the CRM provider of Business of Strength. Like let's do this. Like I think I could add value to the group, number one, and then it obviously would help me out in my business too. But I think I could add value to the group, and just asking that question was huge for me because if I never did that, I don't know where I'd be right now. With this business at least. So
Yeah, it's funny because that's basically how I got to work with them as well. I got a marketing email from Joe about Business to Strength, and it was about how you need to have your digital platform and your CRM and all this stuff. And I shot him back an email. I was like, what would it take to be the fulfillment platform for Varsity House? And he's like, let's talk about
there you go.
it. And so it took a couple of phone calls to work it out, but I'm really excited to be part of that group. And I think we have some work to do to figure out how to. We have like we were talking about before we started. I think there's a lot of similarities between Turnkey Coach and what you're doing at
Yeah,
Ignite, where we offer a platform, but it's kind of when you start, you sign up and look at it, it's sort of a blank slate.
yeah,
It's really up to you as a coach to build the systems and learn how to really optimize it. So there's that learning curve piece to it. So I think we're still learning how to help coaches get in, wrap their head around it. It's super easy to use, but there is a little bit of a mental switch you have to flip to get into the workflow and really get the most out of it. But it's awesome working with those guys. So you emphasize the three pillars of fitness marketing on your
yeah.
website. Can you break that down for us, for our listeners, and who are building their coaching practices right now?
Yeah, so just in general, like a lot of people, just gym owners, think about like, and agencies too. And I hate when I see these ads like from agencies, like, we'll fill your gym with 30 people in 30 days, whatever it is. Like, that's not going to happen, number one. And like, it's not all about prospects. Like, that's what everybody thinks it is, like prospecting, and getting leads. Like, that's not. So, as a gym owner first, I know that like leads are great and you need that. So, there's the prospecting side. Then there's also your member side where you're still marketing to your members, right? That's what
Mm,
I like to call it marketing still, right? Because we're marketing them, we're starting to keep them around, right?
mm,
It goes beyond results, keeping people around, right? Check-ins, processes, all that stuff. And then there's the reactivation people and lost leads, like past members, lost leads that have been in your system for a while. So like those are the three pillars. Like once somebody enters your your gym, your atmosphere, they opt into something, they never should lose the right touch. So they're in the prospecting stage. If prospecting doesn't work out, they're in lost leads. Then there's more automations or more processes to handle those people. they become a member, then it's your member journey, right? Like having a clear member journey, and then from there they're going to leave eventually. It's the fitness industry. There's 1,000 gyms around, but you can always bring them back, and you should try to bring back about 15% of your people every year. Every gym is different, but it's the number that we try to bring back 15 to 20%. So I like to look at all three of those areas, not just the prospecting side, which most agencies do because they don't understand the gym business as well.
Mm-hmm.
And having two gyms, operating two gyms for 11 years plus, like I understand the ins and outs of the business and the marketing side now too. So it's kind of like a perfect fit to be working with gym owners.
Yeah, that's that's interesting that you're thinking about three different phases of the life cycle and marketing to each with I'm assuming a little bit of a different message, different strategy,
Yep.
but building and maintaining the relationship throughout that entire life cycle.
Exactly. And some automations can be internal. I mean by that, like our member journey, it's like when 30 days hits, like we're gonna be pinging your staff to say, not the person, not the client, but ping the staff to say, hey, give this person a phone call. It's been 30 days. Like check in on them. How are they like enjoying the experience? 45 days or handwritten letter, right? Like because everybody has these thoughts in their head, but it's like how can we put it into a system? So we have a whole full year built out of retention system that we use. That's our member side of the marketing, and I call it marketing because in my eyes, it is. Even though we're not like trying to bring them into the gym anymore, but it's still we're trying to keep them in the gym still, right? Because I mean, let's face it. Like obviously, there's great coaches, and some are better than others. But for adults, general fitness, general pop, as long as you're working out 3-4 days a week and you're eating pretty healthy, like you can get the job done. But there's more to it as a gym, right?
Yeah.
So like we want to try to keep people there, right? As much as we can, besides our product, which should always be first. Product should always be first. There's no doubt about it.
Besides over or fixating on prospecting, what's a common mistake that you see coaches make in marketing that you see over and over and over again?
Common mistake is just like kind of being just vanilla and being for everyone, I guess, and not just being for someone, right? So we had I could post it on this or email it out. You could email it out, but we just created like a new like avatar generator, which I was new last week a little bit. So I think that's where people should start. And I just had a call actually yesterday with the business of strength with the group and just kind of walked everybody through it. But it's like, let's just start with like, who are you going after first, right? Like, who is it? Is it, and you want to get niche down, not too much. It all depends, right? Like we have somebody, one of our clients, they're called Relentless in Pennsylvania. Emily, she's awesome, and her business is thriving. It's an amazing business. It's all it's all female athletes. Like so, that's like she's like super clear. It's easy to speak to who she wants, right? Speaking of parents that have girls, right? Like that's all she speaks to. So the problem is, and it's okay, I think in the beginning to speak to everybody and then like figuring out your path, but then narrowing it down a little bit, right? So if like you're adults, you train, 50-year-olds in this area, what I'm saying, in this area, but some people are just too bland. They'll take everybody, right? It's not speaking to somebody at all. And like messaging is not like my super strong suit. So we have somebody on my team, Jay. He's also on the messaging side. He's been in this in like Fortune 500 companies, going over messaging and all that stuff. So we brought him on to Ignite to kind of help us on that area of the business, and it's been a huge help for us.
Yeah, the joke I've seen with a lot of coaching is like pretty much everybody's marketing to the 30 to 45-year-old busy professional.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
you gotta figure out like that is not actually a niche. That is like
it was like 10 years ago, and
yeah,
or 15 years ago, but now everybody's doing it. So
yeah,
it's tough. Like we're doing a whole rebrand for our gyms because like we work in everybody else's gyms and websites and all that stuff. Like ours is so outdated. So I'm like, we got to fix this because like we just get lost. We're fixing everybody else's. So we're going through that right now. I'm like just going through the process with Jay from our team. We're like, who is it? Like who is that actual person we want to target? What do they do? Where do they shop? Where do they hang out? All that stuff, right? How can we? So that avatar generator asks all those questions. So we have it all kind of compile and then go out to them like, and this is a clear profile. And then you could load it into ChatGPT and all your future marketing should just speak off of that. Right. Like
Hmm.
that's how it should be. And that's how we instruct people to use it. So
Yeah, I tried out the avatar generator, and I thought it was pretty slick because, especially when it prompted, the form
yeah.
prompted me to talk as if I were the client my ideal client.
Yeah.
So it forces you to imagine what it's like to be the other person and kind of use their words. I'm not the most empathetic guy, but
Yeah.
maybe that's normal for Sometimes I'll talk to my daughter and she's like, "What, Dad? You don't do that?" And I'm like, "No, Dad."
Yeah.
But I thought it had a great way of walking me through how to create an ICP without just saying, what's your avatar? Like, tell me your avatar. It like really kind of like held your hand through the process, and I thought it gave me a better result than I would have just on my own.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, and there's no shame in this. Like gym owners aren't marketers, right? Like that's the
Hmm.
thing too. Like you're not, and it's you're not. It's just whatever, you're a gym owner. That's completely fine. It's what you are, right? So like using this kind of tools to help you out is just like, in today's world, it's kind of a necessity now. It's like, there's so much competition out there. Like even 11 years ago when I started my first gym, there was like no gyms around my area that did what we did. Now there's like 15 probably in like a 1 mile radius, right?
Wow.
So it's like you have to, we're in Long Island and Nassau County, so it's very dense, but you have to be at the forefront of that. And I used to be the first couple of years a guy who said like, I don't care about websites, I don't care about all this marketing stuff. Like we're just gonna be the best gym, but like it can only get you so far. And unfortunately, sometimes now I can't even keep doing business, right? Like it's just not a reality. So
Hmm.
making that shift and that mindset shift as a gym owner to accept like you're not the best marketer. You got to work out some of this stuff if you want your business to thrive and grow. And if you want to help people, the only way you're gonna be able to help more people is to build a sustainable business that can that allows that to help people, right? So
How, in your experience, how long does it typically take for a coach to see the real results, like business impact from implementing the strategies that you guys focus on?
yeah, so from the CRM standpoint, there's different ways we can help a gym. There's the CRM, there's paid ads, Google Meta, there's SEO work, and then we do websites as well, like custom website design and all that stuff. So, but the CRM is our main product, and then paid ads as well. But like the CRM, once we get somebody, if they never used the CRM before, I mean, it's going to help them tremendously. But even if they're transferring, we have a lot of transfers this year, especially. We just look at it from a different angle. So usually a month or two, it's a pretty intense onboarding. We care about our clients, kind of like what you were saying before, like helping them in the onboarding experience. So
Hmm.
we have a pretty intense onboarding, and like my first business coach for like the agency world, because I don't know this world, so I also got a coach for this too, right? I didn't know this 2 years ago. He was like, wanted me to shorten the onboarding part, but I was kind of going against it, and I still do because I want to give value in the beginning and really get them to understand the platform because I was using high level on other agencies that didn't teach me anything, right? So like I wasn't really using it right. So we'll teach
Hmm.
people how to use it, set up the back end, we'll build out funnels for people, build out automations for people because we want them to get the most out of it.
Shifting gears a little bit back to the entrepreneurship side,
Yeah.
what was the biggest challenge you faced growing your own gyms, and how did you overcome those?
Yeah, growing your own gyms is accountability charts, organizational charts in your business is probably the hardest part. Like,
Mm.
assigning, who's wearing what hat, basically.
Hmm.
And it's still to this day, it's always a struggle, right? And like getting good coaches and then training coaches. So like at first, you're good at training your clients, and like, of course, as you should be, right? So um, I was always just focused on training my clients, training my clients. How can I get better at that? But then you got to shift your gear at some point to training your coaches. Like, so it's like you're not training your clients anymore, but you are responsible for training your coaches because your product is the end result of your business, right? Like, no matter what, no matter how good your marketing and sales is, if your product sucks, it's going to fail, right? So, um, I really took the time, and again, with mentors leading the way for me, like taking my time from training clients to, okay, let me train my coaches. This is the processes we're doing. These are the workouts we're doing. And the longer a business goes on too, it gets harder and harder because like that was years ago. And I had to come back in with new coaches. It's hard. But if you create SOPs in your business, right, then it can be a little bit easier to onboard people and hiring the right people in these positions too. So I guess like building out the team is probably the hardest thing. I think a lot of entrepreneurs in any industry kind of avoid that because they just think they can do it better and or don't want to put the effort into coaching people, which is probably the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. You talked about managing cash flow issues on the Business Strength podcast. How do you advise coaches that are struggling with that? Especially, like we're both in the industry of helping coaches, but there's also a cash outlay to get these tools in place. How do you help people or, advise people
It's
to
tough.
balance that?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Sometimes I'm too nice, but I'm getting rid of this. Like this year, like I'll help people out for the first couple of months, get them on their feet, and we'll give a half off or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, but all kidding aside, like but doing that is not good either because people have to understand like the value of things too, right?
Right.
So what it really comes down to is just painting the picture for them and being completely honest, right? Like, look, like we're gonna spend some money here, we're gonna get you a CRM and get that stuff in place. It's gonna pay dividends of getting your time back in your business. Yes, it might cost $500 a month, and we'll give you a lot of support, but your ROI on time is going to be huge, right? Like if you're training people at 150 an hour, whatever it is, so that's about what 3-4 sessions, right? You can get more than 4 hours back in a month, way more than 4 hours back, So we try to paint that picture. And again, if we do a good job in the onboarding and they're understanding the whole software and how it can help them, it becomes a no brainer after like 2 months. It's like how could I not have this,
Right.
right, in the business? So it really just comes down to just laying it out for them, painting the picture, and explaining to them like this is not going to be an instant ROI, right? And even ads, and that was my whole presentation was about that in Arizona. Like when we put ads out there, a lot of agencies are saying like 30 days, whatever it is, 30 clients in your gym, all that stuff. Like number one, that's BS because you don't know the market yet. Every market's completely different, like completely different. Like we have some creatives, some pictures on ads that work great in some areas and they flop in other areas. So it's like we really got to figure out your area and see what people like in your area. It takes time. That stuff just takes time. You know.
Yeah, it comes to mind that I think you were showing me some of the A/B testing you guys were doing, and the differences between the one that hit, the one that landed, and the one that didn't were just they were so silly. Like I mean, from my perspective, I'm like the content is identical, but it's like you have somebody jump into the screen or something, or
No, it's true. Yeah, that one example.
yeah,
He did. Yeah, it was awesome to show him because my client didn't want to like do these intro things, but I'm like, listen, just try it because,
yeah,
and I was like, do this for me, do the video normal, and I'm going to do a little jump intro. Let's see what happens. So we put them both out there. I think one of them got like 25 leads in the first like week, and the other one got nothing. So it's just
yeah,
like it's funny. But the funny part about that is take those two videos, put it in a different market, it might be different results. So
right,
it's crazy. It's a lot of testing. So that's what me and Jay, who's the head of our ad side, is like every day we're just like, and now I'm coaching him on the ads, and we're just going over like how could we best optimize this. So we're building some crazy automations and like reporting for that, so we can really see like every day we're trying to get better and try to just see what's working and what's not working because. And the other thing is meta changes. So like
yeah.
running ads on meta changes like every 2 months or so, and sometimes they all crash, and it's just a big headache. And it's like, why do I do this?
I was just talking about that this morning with another coach that you used to be able to post a picture of a sandwich and you get 1,000
Oh,
views,
100%.
and now you got to be A/B testing your
Yep.
dynamic intro. Like it's just
Yep.
constantly changing. How do you have any advice or like best practice for you know it, I'll just speak for myself here. Like when I start thinking about that, it just feels silly. It feels like, why am I doing this? Like, is there like any kind of mental mind games or mental tricks you use to get people to just be like, I don't know, just have fun with it or something? Like, what? how do you
Yeah,
get
so
to
you're
where?
actually like shooting the content you're saying.
Yeah, like if you're creating ads or you're creating content or just playing the ads, the marketing game.
I guess just painting the ROI picture for them, right? Like, look, like
Yeah,
it's you're not doing this for nothing. Like, you know,
right,
like the whole
right.
goal is to eventually make money. But the
Yeah.
problem is, and this is what I spoke on, right? Is like the problem is, and I was the same way for years. I would go to different agencies and like we'd be like, you know, 3 or 4 thousand in the hole. There's like 2 or 3 months in, and like, you know, we'd be 3 or 4 thousand in the hole, and I would just quit, right? We'd stop. But the problem is like it takes time to build, and if you get a couple people and you know your LTV, you know your lifetime value of your client, right? Like you're actually not doing as bad as you think you are, right? And you know we don't want it to wait that long, right? We want to have success off the jump, and some accounts do, some accounts don't. But if you stay in it, you're going to make money. Like, and you know, to not market your business in this world where everybody's on their phone 24/7, why wouldn't you want your business in front of other people's eyes?
Mm,
You know, like why? Why wouldn't you? I get it. There's some spend up there, but it's actually you really can't track the true ROI because people see an ad. They might have saw your place thousands of times, and they see the ad, and then they're finally like, okay, I'm gonna go into this place. They might walk into your place, right?
hmm.
They might go to your website later on tonight. So there's really no true way of testing it. So what I like to tell people, I know I'm going on a tangent here, but
No, it's good.
what I like to tell people is like just your whole ROI. Just let's just your marketing spend. Everything goes into marketing and sales. So it could be your ad spend, your agency fee, your if you're doing like mailers to people's doors, if you're doing Google ads. All right, you're spending 5,000 a month, right? If as long as you're bringing in 4 times that amount, like 3 to 5 times that amount in acquisition, but their LTV acquisition, then you're in good shape. So knowing your numbers, knowing your data is always huge. Because if you don't know it, then you're not really sure, you know, where your standing is.
So that was going to be my follow-up question is like when you're looking at a business, how do you triage whether it's the product or the ads or do you just see it as like you were just kind of describing there? What I heard is you essentially need to invest a percentage of your lifetime customer lifetime value into sales and marketing as just that's just business basics that you've got to
Listen,
do that.
a lot of people have to say like 5% of your revenue for your
Uh,
marketing spend. It's debatable. Every market's different, but as long as like if I'm putting $2,000 in, and say if my lifetime value is 4,000 for a client, say, and I'm signing up 2 people, then that's about 3 times my 4 times my investment. Then you're in
mhm,
good standing. Like that's the
mhm.
easiest way to go about it. And
Got
just
it.
go about count all of your spend in your marketing and like how many people you're acquiring in that time, right? And it makes sense if you know like the average LTV, and then it's pretty easy to measure.
I know we're a little bit over on time, but I'm. Do you have a couple more minutes
Oh, I'm good.
to
Yeah, I'm good. I got blocked out, so we're good.
do you ever get to a point where I'm an engineer, so I'm always like I might not understand what the black box does, but if I put X in, I get Y out. Like, do
Yeah.
you ever get to a point with ads and marketing where it's like I know we were just talking like as long as you're within a certain percentage, but does it ever work where you're like, well, okay, I put 1,000 in and I'm getting 4,000 out. All right, if I put 10,000 in, does that mean I get
Yeah.
40,000 out?
Yeah. Everybody always asks that, and like, oh, like this is a winning ad, like yeah, and all that. But no,
Pour
that's
gas on it. Yeah,
unfortunately it's not as easy as it sounds. So,
yeah.
and especially with Meta now, like the way it changed now, like this year. So, if you have a campaign running and say you're spending $100 a day, just for easy math, right? And you go ahead and like change it to $200 the next day, the whole algorithm shifts and changes. So like you could literally just lose everything you had.
Jeez.
And then also like you're in a local market, so it's like how much could you tap out at once, right? Like that's
Mm,
also the other area too. If you're local market
right,
ads,
right,
if it's national, it's a little bit different. Like for you guys, it's a little bit different, right?
right.
But the problem is the algorithms change. So like you want to increase like 20%, then give it like 3 days and another 20%. Like that's how you can scale it, and scale your ads that way. But the problem is like two weeks later, and you're spending 40% more, it doesn't mean that ad is still hitting. And so it's like, it's really tough. It's really
Yeah.
tough when you're tracking stuff, and every market is completely different. So you just got to be carefully managing it. It's not like, and a lot of people say it to us, like, "Hey, Mike, this is awesome. We're making a lot of Mike. Let me just dump a lot more into it." Mike, I wish we could,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, not to get technical, but then we'll create another ad set or campaign, and we'll spend money that way instead of ruining the one we have going.
Well, certainly sounds more complicated than I could wrap my head around, and makes sense that coaches would benefit by working with somebody who's in that day to day and like understands those dynamics, because like it's like training. You could I learn it if I spent 10 years studying it like you have?
Yeah,
Probably, maybe, but I've got other things to do, and it's like you said, the ROI in your time is, I think, extremely valuable, and I think a lot of coaches benefit by having somebody to be able to work with to kind of sort out all those details and the mechanics.
yeah, it's the same with athletes too. Like, or the everyday general pop. Like, you're paying for experience.
Yep.
You're paying
Yep.
experience. Like they've done that. They've worked with people with your situations before, and like this is going to be a better chance of them succeeding with you than you doing your own right now. You know.
Yeah. And while we're not working with you directly as our CRM or marketing, I can vouch for working with you and your team, because we've been partnering on integration with for Varsity House, and
Yep.
you're running their front end essentially, and
Yep.
we're delivering on the back end. And it's been cool to be able to work with your team and get our APIs talking to each other,
Yeah.
so that we've been able to automate some client onboarding with Turnkey Coach, and super easy and fun working with you guys, and also we've been the booth next to you guys a couple times now, and it's
Yeah.
always fun hanging out. So can certainly vouch for that. Anybody out there listening, if you are a Turnkey Coach user, looking for a CRM, would highly recommend connecting with Mike. What's the best way for people to connect with you guys if they're interested?
Yeah, if you head to intro.ignite-entrepreneurs.com or email me directly, Mike at ignite-entrepreneurs.com, be more than happy to help out.
Awesome. And we will, in the show notes, we'll include a link to that avatar
Yeah,
builder.
yeah, I made a discount code too, so you get some people get some free runs for a little bit through that in a month. So we did some
Awesome.
free runs and try it out. I think it's just I'll email it to you. I think it's just TK. That's what I made it. So
Okay.
put
Perfect.
that in. It'll be a free run, and they'll have to pay for you either. So
Awesome. Well, Mike, thanks again. Appreciate you having you taking time out of your day and being on the show, and looking forward to continuing to work with you and probably see you at the next Business of Strength event.
yeah, of course. Likewise. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care.
You too.
Let's see. I need to do an outro here, I guess. If for those also listening that have not yet booked a free discovery call, go to turnkey.coach/BOC call. That's turnkey.coach/BOCCALL. We'll walk you through, or we'll talk to you about your business, get a feel for where your pain points are, and whether or not Turnkey Coach can help you scale your business without having to spend more time in the gym. And then we can also talk about getting you hooked up with Ignite to streamline your sales, your marketing, your customer relationship management, and get you making more money in less time.